Welcome to a new episode of the podcast. Vox Agent is made by AI for business executives that work with AI. Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's, well, absolutely critical for any business leveraging cutting-edge tech. How do you really truly measure the business outcomes of agentic AI? It's definitely more than just a tech buzzword these days. It's really about quantifiable impact, isn't it?
It really is.
We've gathered quite a stack of fascinating sources, some great research, and real-world examples to sort of guide us through this complex but really crucial landscape.
Yeah. And our mission today really is to equip you, our listeners, with the frameworks to not just deploy these powerful AI systems, but to actually prove their tangible value.
Exactly, because we're tackling a crucial paradox today, I think.
Yeah.
Companies are pouring millions into agentic AI, right?
Oh, huge investment.
But studies are showing nearly half aren't systematically measuring the returns, which seems counterintuitive.
It does. And that's exactly the challenge we see out there. When we talk about agentic AI, just to be clear, we're not referring to your typical AI that just responds to a prompt.
Right, not just a chatbot.
No, we're talking about autonomous AI systems, people often call them AI agents, that are capable of making decisions and taking actions with minimal human oversight to achieve specific goals.
So they're more proactive.
Exactly. Think of them as intelligent software agents that kind of step out of the passive role and into the driver's seat, essentially functioning as, well, autonomous digital coworkers.
Okay.
And what's fascinating here is that while the potential for return on investment is huge, I mean, current studies show an average ROI of about $3.70 for every dollar invested in AI, and the top performers, they're achieving 10 per dollar.
Wow. Okay. $10 back for everyone spent.
Yeah, massive potential. But the discipline of rigorous measurement is still catching up. As you said, less than half of organizations systematically measure AI ROI today.
That's the gap.
That's the gap. And it means tech-savvy executives aren't always getting the metrics they really need on cost savings, revenue generation, efficiency gains, the strategic impact to truly understand the ROI.
Which leads to that big question.
Exactly. This raises an important question. How can organizations ensure they're not just deploying powerful AI, but actually proving its value?
That statistic, less than half measuring.
Yeah.
It is staggering.
What's the biggest hurdle there, do you think? Is it just not having the right tools, or is it more of a fundamental misunderstanding of how to measure beyond, say, simple cost savings?
I think it's often a bit of both. Sometimes it's a lack of specific frameworks, but also a mindset shift. People tend to focus heavily on getting the AI working.
The technical implementation.
Right. Not necessarily on proving its financial contribution right from day one. So when we define outcomes, we need to start by distinguishing between two main types of benefits.
First, you've got the tangible benefits. These are the ones you can, quantify pretty directly. Things like direct cost reduction from automation, clear productivity gain.
Processing more invoices per hour.
Exactly. Or increased revenue from new AI-driven capabilities, maybe improved throughput in processes, or a measurable reduction in error rates. Think of a customer service agent handling more tickets at a lower cost per interaction. That's tangible.
Straightforward numbers.
Yep. But then there are the intangible benefits. Now, these are often harder to put a direct dollar figure on immediately, but they definitely contribute significantly to the overall ROI over time.
Like what, for example?
Things like improved decision-making quality across the team, maybe an enhanced customer experience that doesn't immediately show up as revenue but builds loyalty.
Higher employee satisfaction, maybe, if AI takes away the boring tasks.
Absolutely. Or even an increased capacity for innovation because the AI frees up human creativity. Both tangible and intangible are vital for that holistic view of the return.
So it's not just about what hits the P&L directly this quarter, but also those ripple effects, the sort of qualitative improvements that might seem harder to pin down initially.
Precisely.
But for the executive in the boardroom, it often still comes down to the hard numbers, right? How do we translate those, let's say, ripple effects back into a concrete ROI calculation they can use?
Yeah, that's where the core ROI formula is key. And it's actually quite straightforward mathematically. ROI equals net benefit minus cost divided by cost times 100%.
Okay.
Let's use a concrete example to be clear. Say an AI agent saves $500,000 in annual labor costs.
Okay.
And it also drives maybe $800,000 in new sales through better lead qualification or something.
Got it. So $1.3 million in benefits.
Right. And let's say it costs $1 million total to develop and deploy that agent.
Okay.
The one-year ROI would be 1.3 million, $1 million, $1 million, it's
Okay,
100%, which comes out to 30%.
a 30% return in the first year? Okay, that's a clear number.
It is. And it's also really crucial here to distinguish between ROI and key performance indicators, KPIs. People sometimes mix them up.
Ah, good point. How do they differ?
Well, KPIs are those specific operational metrics. Think task completion rate, customer satisfaction score, error reduction percentage. They show performance against specific operational goals.
Are granular.
Exactly. ROI, on the other hand, is that higher level financial measure of the total value versus the total cost. So think of KPIs as the building blocks, the data points you use to ultimately calculate and demonstrate the overall ROI.
I see. KPIs feed the ROI.
You got it. And just quickly on timing, when we talk about time to value or the payback period, many AI initiatives are aiming for payback within, say, a year or two. One study I saw noted an average of about 14 months for AI agents to achieve a positive ROI.
14 months on average. That's pretty quick for a major tech investment.
It can be, yes, if implemented and measured correctly.
That clarifies the distinction perfectly. KPIs feeding into the larger ROI picture. Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting, I think. It's easy to focus on the flashy capabilities of agentic AI, what it can do. But what often gets overlooked, maybe, is how the very design, the architecture of these systems dictates what we can and should measure. It's almost like the blueprint is also the scorecard, isn't it?
It absolutely is. That's a great way to put it. The way an AI agent is designed, its architecture, directly shapes its measurable outcomes.
So how does building an AI agent actually impact what we need to measure? Can you break that down?
Sure. Let's look at some key architectural components and their corresponding metrics. First, you've got the autonomous decision engine. This is basically the brain of the agent.
Or what thinks and plans.
Exactly. It allows the system to plan, reason, act independently. Now, from a measurement perspective, this autonomy introduces critical metrics like task success rate, decision accuracy, and of course, error rates.
Okay, makes sense.
So for example, if you have an AI agent processing loan applications autonomously, you'd meticulously measure how many it completes successfully, its accuracy in making the right approval or denial decisions, and how often humans have to step in or correct its mistakes.
Right.
But here's something often overlooked. That brain isn't static. We also need to track something called model drift.
Model drift.
Yeah, it's the subtle degradation or shift in an AI model's performance over time. You need to monitor that to ensure your highly accurate AI today isn't subtly underperforming 6 months down the line, eroding ROI without anyone noticing.
Ah, so it's not just if it makes good decisions, but how consistently well it performs over time.
Precisely.
But an AI agent isn't usually working in a vacuum, is it? It needs to interact with other systems, databases, APIs.
Exactly. It's not an island.
So it's not just about what the AI decides, but how effectively it executes those decisions in the real world, using other tools. That must mean the integrations are just as critical as the brain itself.
You're spot on. That leads us directly to the tool use and integration layer. Agentic AI systems aren't just thinking. They're doing stuff by integrating with various tools, pulling data from a CRM, sending emails, executing financial transactions, you name it.
Right.
This layer profoundly influences metrics like response time, latency, system reliability, uptime, all that operational stuff.
So technical metrics become business metrics.
In a way, yes. If an AI agent is orchestrating a complex workflow across multiple applications, any downtime or even just a glitch in those integrations could seriously impact business outcomes. So your measurement framework has to cover IT metrics like API call success rates or integration errors. These technical metrics, while maybe not directly financial, are critical because poor system performance can completely negate any potential business benefits. I mean, a slow customer service agent, even if it's accurate, hurts CSAT and throughput, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And beyond just interacting, these agents need information, context to make good decisions. What about the quality and breadth of the information they're drawing from? How does that get measured?
Good question. That falls under the memory knowledge base. Agentic AI often includes some form of robust memory or knowledge component. It might store context from conversations, past interactions, or deep domain knowledge to inform its decisions.
Like remembering a customer's previous issues.
Exactly. This capability is measured through outcomes related to decision quality and context accuracy. Does the customer support agent remember the history to avoid asking the same questions? Does a legal AI recall relevant case precedents accurately? You might gauge this with metrics like first contact resolution rate, or maybe the number of times an issue has to be escalated because the AI lacked the right knowledge.
Okay.
And if the AI learns over time, you might also measure things like knowledge coverage. How much relevant information does it actually have access to, and how frequently its knowledge base is updated? This all directly contributes to its accuracy and efficiency.
It really sounds like the AI's internal goals, the things it's optimized for, need to be perfectly aligned with the business's goals. Otherwise, you could have a really efficient agent doing the wrong thing very, very quickly.
That's a hugely crucial point. And it relates to the goal and reward structure. Many agentic AI systems, especially those using techniques like reinforcement learning, are built with an internal objective function or a reward mechanism.
What it's trying to achieve internally.
Right. And the design choice for that internal goal architecture must align directly with the overarching business KPIs. Your example is perfect. If an AI agent in a call center is optimized purely for reducing average call handling time,
Which sounds good on the surface.
right, but you must also measure customer satisfaction scores for those interactions. Otherwise, you risk sacrificing quality just for speed. The danger is optimizing for some local maximum that's actually detrimental to the bigger business picture. The AI's architectural objectives have to translate seamlessly to beneficial business objectives. Rigorous measurement is the essential feedback loop to make sure that alignment stays true.
That makes total sense. You need checks and balances. Now, that autonomy sounds incredibly powerful, but it also begs the question, where do humans fit into all this? Are we seeing a shift from, say, human in the loop to perhaps human on the loop, supervising more, and how does that impact our ability to measure?
That's a great observation, and it brings us neatly to human in the loop and override mechanisms. These design aspects are critical because, let's face it, even highly autonomous systems need safeguards, human oversight.
Right, you can't just let it run wild.
No. So this leads to metrics like the frequency of human intervention needed, the number or percentage of cases handed off to humans, maybe the difference in cycle time with versus without human input.
Okay.
Teams often set what we call guardrail metrics. For example, they might configure it so the AI agent will autocomplete tasks up to a certain risk level, say $10,000. Any task above that value automatically triggers human review. And then you measure how often those guardrails are triggered and maybe analyze whether they were set appropriately. This helps quantify the value and cost of that human oversight layer, ensuring efficiency isn't compromising safety or quality.
And for more complex setups, maybe where you have multiple AI agents working together, coordinating tasks like a team, how do you measure that collective intelligence, so to speak?
Yeah, for orchestration and multi-agent systems, where several agents might work in concert towards a larger goal, maybe one agent handles intake, another does analysis, a third executes the transaction, we need to measure things like coordination efficiency.
How well they play together.
Exactly. Overall throughput is key, like the number of end-to-end processes completed per hour. And critically, you measure handoff success rates between the agents. If Agent A hands off a task to Agent B, you care deeply about whether that transfer is seamless or if things get dropped or stalled due to communication issues between them.
Lots of potential failure points there.
There can be.
Yeah.
And all of this really underscores a fundamental principle. Instrumentation and monitoring should be built into the system design right from the start. Don't try to bolt it on afterwards.
Be proactive about measurement.
Absolutely. This proactive approach enables the transparency you need and provides the granular data required for continuous evaluation and improvement. And just one more point here, having an explainable AI, an AI that can articulate why it made a certain decision, also greatly aids in understanding and improving decision quality, verifying its reasoning, and crucially, ensuring compliance.
That's a truly comprehensive breakdown. It really shows how the architecture connects directly to measurable outcomes, going way beyond just basic speed or accuracy. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the why and the how conceptually. But what does this look like when an organization really nails it? Let's get down to brass tacks. What are some real numbers, proven ROI from actual implementations?
Yeah, these real-world examples really bring the abstract concepts to life and show that tangible ROI is achievable. Let's start with customer service. A major global e-commerce retailer deployed AI chat agents and found they resolved 80% of routine inquiries fully autonomously.
80%?
Yeah. And just that alone cut their average response time from over 5 minutes down to under 1 minute. But here's the kicker. They specifically tracked customer satisfaction scores, CSAT, and they found the AI-handled cases averaged 4.5 out of 5. which was actually slightly higher than the human agents for those routine queries.
Higher satisfaction with the AI, that's surprising.
It surprised them too initially. And they could precisely correlate those case deflection rates to significant cost savings, translating into millions saved annually.
Okay, that's fascinating. Not just faster, maybe more consistent for routine stuff, leading to better satisfaction. What about in heavier industries like manufacturing? Can agents make a difference there?
Oh, definitely. In manufacturing, predictive maintenance agents have delivered some phenomenal results. We saw one firm report cutting unplanned downtime by as much as 70%.
70% less downtime. That's huge for operations.
It's massive. And they also cut maintenance costs by 25% through more timely, targeted interventions based on real-time IoT sensor data analyzed by the AI agent. This directly impacts the bottom line by maximizing operational uptime and extending the life of expensive assets.
And how about financial services? That seems like a prime area, given the need for accuracy, speed, risk mitigation.
Absolutely prime. In financial services, we've seen an insurance company use autonomous loan processing agents to dramatically shrink processing times from weeks down to mere hours.
Weeks to hours.
Yes. And crucially, while maintaining a 99% accuracy rate, or consider a bank. Their fraud detection AI flagged fraudulent transactions with 95% accuracy. But the key metric they also tracked was that it reduced false positives by 60%.
Ah, so fewer legitimate customers getting blocked.
Exactly. That prevented potentially $10 million in fraud losses per year without inconveniencing good customers. These cases really show both efficiency gains and critical risk mitigation value.
Clearly a huge impact on both the cost and risk side there. What about on the revenue-generating side, like sales and marketing? This is often where companies are looking for that direct uplift.
Yeah, and the results in sales and marketing are equally compelling. Monk's agency, for example, reported an 80% improvement in click-through rates on their digital ads.
80% better CTR.
And a 31% lower cost per purchase just by using agentic AI for automated campaign optimization. Other examples include e-commerce companies seeing things like a 40% reduction in shopping cart abandonment rates.
How does that work?
Through personalized, timely interventions by AI agents, maybe offering a discount or answering a last-minute question right when the customer seems hesitant, that directly recaptures significant revenue that would otherwise be lost.
Wow. Okay, and internally, within a
Wow.
company's own operations where efficiency can drive massive cost savings and maybe improve the employee experience too.
Definitely seeing strong results in HR and internal operations. An enterprise IT help desk, for instance, implemented an AI agent that could auto-resolve 60% of all their Tier 1 requests.
60% of basic IT tickets gone.
Instantly resolved. It cut the average resolution time for those issues from about 3 hours down to basically instant. And the company estimated that led to about $2 million in annual savings just from that one application.
Incredible.
Another striking example. An AI recruiting agent reduced the average time to hire by 50%. And it allowed the human recruiters to effectively handle twice as many open requisitions concurrently. That's a significant boost to talent acquisition efficiency.
Yeah, huge leverage.
So these examples really emphasize, I think, the importance of tailoring the KPIs to each specific scenario. That's how you turn those interesting anecdotes into verifiable, impactful numbers that executives can really trust and act on.
Those are incredibly powerful examples demonstrating clear, quantifiable ROI across such diverse sectors. It's obvious the impact is real and can be measured. We've seen the powerful potential, the why measure. We've dug into the how, linking architecture to metrics. But let's be honest, making this transformation, turning AI from just a cool tech experiment into a core strategic asset, it's not exactly a walk in the park, is it?
No, definitely not.
What are the biggest hurdles companies face in truly capturing and proving this value beyond just, picking the right KPIs?
That's where the real complexity often lies day to day. Now, the benefits of doing measurement rigorously are profound. We should restate those. It provides clear justification and accountability for those big AI investments, right? Helps secure executive support and holds teams accountable for results.
Makes sense.
It ensures strategic alignment, making sure the AI initiatives are directly tied to the big business goals like revenue growth, cost reduction, customer satisfaction. It enables continuous improvement, allowing for ongoing monitoring and refinement of the AI systems over their lifetime.
You can't improve what you don't measure.
Exactly. Crucially, it facilitates broad value capture, making sure you explicitly measure both the tangible and those intangible benefits for a complete holistic view. And ultimately, nailing this gives you a strong competitive advantage. You can articulate your AI ROI compellingly, both internally to build confidence and externally to enhance your market image. It really elevates AI from being just a technical experiment to a core strategic asset.
Okay, so it's really about weaving AI into the strategic fabric of the business, driven by data. But given all these compelling benefits, why isn't everyone doing this effectively yet? What are those common hurdles, the practical challenges organizations bump up against when they try to implement these measurement frameworks?
Yeah, the challenges are significant and often multifaceted. One major issue that comes up again and again is attribution and causality. It's often genuinely difficult to isolate the AI's exact impact amidst all the other things changing in the business environment, market shifts, other initiatives, competitor actions.
How do you prove the AI caused the uplift?
Precisely. Without carefully controlled experiments, which aren't always feasible, attribution can be tricky. Then there's the inherent complexity of quantifying those soft benefits we talked about: improved decision quality, enhanced employee satisfaction, increased innovation capacity. Putting a hard dollar value on those can be complex and often requires creative, sometimes proxy-based measurement approaches.
Right, harder than counting cost savings.
Definitely. Data collection and integration is another persistent practical hurdle. Just getting the data you need from the AI system's logs, from existing business KPI dashboards, from financial systems, and integrating it all across different platforms can be complicated and really labor-intensive.
The plumbing problem.
The plumbing problem, exactly. You also frequently face organizational and cultural resistance. Sometimes it's misconceptions about AI, maybe fears about job displacement, or sometimes it's just existing goal conflicts between different departments that can hinder honest, transparent measurement efforts. People might resist metrics they feel paint them in a bad light. Politics, unfortunately, yes. And lastly, there's often a time lag in outcomes. Some significant benefits, especially strategic ones, might accrue over months or even years, not immediately. This requires patience and long-term measurement frameworks, which can be hard to maintain focus on. It's notable, going back to that earlier point, that one study found nearly half of marketing teams using generative AI weren't measuring ROI effectively.
And what happened?
Well, regrettably, it led to some promising projects getting stalled or even canceled simply because their positive impact couldn't be definitively demonstrated with numbers when budget questions came up.
That makes perfect sense. If you can't show the value with data, even potentially great tech can fall flat when resources get tight, regardless of its underlying potential. Okay, so looking ahead then, given these challenges, how do you see the whole landscape of AI measurement evolving? What future trends should executives maybe be preparing for now to stay ahead of these challenges and really maximize their AI investments going forward?
Yeah, looking forward, we anticipate several key shifts that should make AI measurement more robust, more standardized, and hopefully more accessible over time. First, I expect we'll see a greater standardization of metrics for AI outcomes across different industries.
Like GAAP for financial accounting, but for AI value.
Something like that, yes. Just as financial accounting has established standards, AI value measurement might eventually get more widely accepted, industry-approved KPIs. This would make benchmarking performance across different companies much easier and more reliable.
That would be helpful. What else?
Second, we'll definitely see the emergence of more advanced tooling. We're talking things like real-time AI value dashboards that visualize impact instantly, maybe more sophisticated AI-driven attribution models that help tease apart causality.
Tools to solve the attribution problem.
Hopefully help with it, yes. And perhaps unified enterprise AI scorecards that automate much of the data collection and measurement process, taking some of the manual burden off analysts.
Okay, better tools.
Third, I think outcome-based pricing models from AI vendors will become more prevalent. We're already seeing some of this. Vendors increasingly charging not just for the software license, but based on the actual results delivered, maybe per ticket deflected by a support agent, or per percentage point of efficiency gain achieved.
So the vendor has skin in the game.
Exactly. And that inherently forces more precise measurement because the vendor's payment depends on it. Fourth, we'll need new metrics for new capabilities. As agentic AI takes on more complex, maybe strategic or even creative roles, we'll need ways to measure things beyond just efficiency. Think about metrics for effective human-AI collaboration or the performance of multi-agent collective intelligence, maybe even trying to quantify the value of a creative contribution from an AI.
Wow, okay, so it sounds like we'll be moving beyond measuring just traditional business metrics and into entirely new dimensions of collaboration, strategy, maybe even creativity as AI becomes more sophisticated and deeply integrated.
Precisely. That's where the frontier is heading. And finally, maybe underpinning all of this, regulatory and ethical integration will become a standard part of the measurement picture. Performance dashboards won't just track profit and efficiency. They'll likely need to extend to include compliance metrics, maybe fairness indices to check for bias, even tracking counts of ethics violations or near misses.
So responsible AI becomes a measurable performance indicator.
I think it has to. These aren't just nice-to-haves. They're about ensuring responsible AI deployment and mitigating potentially huge risks, reputational, legal, financial litigation that could severely impact business viability down the road.
That paints a really compelling picture of the future one, where AI's impact is not just felt anecdotally, but meticulously quantified across the board, from bottom line efficiency all the way through to ethical considerations. So if this future of agentic AI is truly all about measurable, continuous value, what does this mean for how you, our listener, approach your next technology investment? Are you just buying another tool, another piece of software, or are you actually preparing to unlock and then rigorously track a whole new strategic engine for your business?
It really underscores that defining and measuring the business outcomes for agentic AI isn't just critical, it's becoming the absolute linchpin that connects cutting-edge technological capability with true, sustainable business viability and success.
A powerful thought to end on. Thank you for joining the podcast, and see you soon.